A day late, but still great. Thank you for tuning in to this brand new Round 2 Wrestling podcast here on the 19th of October, 2022. For those of you who were anticipating a brand new Round 2 Wrestling on Tuesday, we dropped our very first ever special here on Round 2 Wrestling, and that covered the PWI 500. So be sure to check out that incredibly special podcast about the PWI 500 and the top 500 wrestlers in the world, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I am SlimmDa KID, and this is Round 2 Wrestling, and we are going to kick things off like we always do and begin this program by taking a listen to the rumor mill. All right, Dave Meltzer wrote in Sports Illustrated that WWE contacted Renee Paquette to return to the company for its recent shakeup to the commentary teams, but she rejected their offer. Mia Yim is officially a free agent after her Impact contract expired recently, according to Fightful Select. PW Insider notes that Bray Wyatt will be exclusive to the SmackDown brand going forward, while Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows will be exclusive to Raw. For what it's worth, Andrew Zarian said, "One of the reasons WWE wants to go to TV14 is due to the holy shit chants from the crowds." For those of you who are new to pro wrestling, the crowd is very much as part of the show as the actual wrestlers. Chants and other things like that come from the stands and from the fans throughout the entire event. And yes, some vulgarity is thrown in there. Now, for those of you who are fans of AEW, this is nothing new. Fans have been chanting holy shit and shut the fuck up pretty much since its inception. However, WWE is more of a universal, family recognized brand, so I could understand why this rumor says that they would like to switch it to TV14 because of the crowds. But we here at Round 2 Wrestling have a little saying, and that is only time will tell. The Observer says Becky Lynch is close to returning from her shoulder injury and that Charlotte Flair is scheduled to be back soon. Fightful Select says the Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson return to WWE on a, quote, big money deal, end quote. Ringside News claims Bray Wyatt's WWE return was being worked on even prior to Vince McMahon's exit from the company. The Good Brothers have been working in New Japan without contracts, says Fightful. NJPW was aware of their WWE appearance, and Carl Anderson said he's still planning to work the Tokyo Dome. But Sean Ross Sapp hasn't been able to confirm if Anderson was working or shooting when he made that comment. All right, enough of the rumors and the what-ifs and the maybes from the pro wrestling world, although it is a lot to think about and a bit of a head-scratcher, some of these rumors. That's why they're rumors. They may be true, they may not be true. Sometimes it's just to get a name out there, simply enough just to get the name out there. But the rumors are fun because you never know what's true and what's made up, especially pro wrestling rumors. Concluding our rumors, we will jump right over to pro wrestling news. According to Wrestling Observer Radio, AEW has officially released Ace Steel from the company where he had been working backstage. Steel was involved in the backstage brawl and reportedly threw a chair which hit Nick Jackson in the head. This is still fallout from All Out a couple months later, and this particular bit of pro wrestling news was released today. Still no word on what is going to happen to Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. However, I and other people like me seem to think that they will be back within AEW sometime within the next 6 months, whether that be the end of 2022 or sometime towards the beginning of 2023. I believe that everybody involved, minus CM Punk and Ace Steel, will be back and wrestling on live TV sooner rather than later. Again, this is a very sensitive subject. Nobody really knows what's going on because nothing is being said, and those who are involved are left in the dark as well. So, again, our favorite thing to say here on Round 2 Wrestling, only time will tell, but time is running out, at least with the patience for the fans and what AEW is going to do. According to Variety, Chris Jericho has signed a new 3-year contract with AEW, which will keep him in the company until December 2025. In addition to wrestling, the new deal comes with additional duties for Jericho, who will become a producer and advisor to creative as well as a mentor to the younger wrestlers. On AEW Dynamite, Hangman Adam Page, and this was the Dynamite that happened last night, Hangman Adam Page was injured in a match against Jon Moxley. Page was hit with a clothesline and landed on his head awkwardly, resulting in the match being instantly stopped. Page was taken to a hospital where he was later diagnosed with a concussion and discharged. For those of you who watched Title Tuesday AEW Dynamite last night, this was a very scary scene. They took down the ropes, they immediately stopped the match, awarded Jon Moxley as the winner. A lot of fans are bitching and complaining because they had to cut the match short, but I, for one, am more concerned about the safety of the wrestlers as opposed to putting together a decent ending. For those fans who want to complain and be against me and say that wrestling comes first above the safety of the wrestlers, my response to you is fuck you. You've never stepped inside the circle and you have no idea what these guys put their bodies through on a nightly basis. The good news is Adam Page seems to be okay. He's alert, he's moving, but concussions are tricky and can take a while to recover from. So hopefully we see Hangman Adam Page back in an AEW ring sooner rather than later. While speaking with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated, Tony Khan said he hopes to bring Ring of Honor to weekly television in 2023. Khan stated, quote, "Our goal is to have one more great pay-per-view for Ring of Honor in 2022 and then follow that up with a weekly show in 2023, end quote. It was previously believed that Mia Yim and her contract with Impact was going to be slated to retire sometime in October. However, nobody thought that it would be towards the beginning of October as opposed to the end. New Japan Pro Wrestling has confirmed the main event for its biggest event of the year, New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17, will feature Jay White defending his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against G1 Climax winner Okada. No more pro wrestling news to talk about. We are going to jump over to title matches. WWE United States Champion Seth Rollins defeated Matt Riddle to retain the United States Championship. AEW World Trios Champions Death Triangle defeated Best Friends and Orange Cassidy to retain the AEW Trio titles. AEW Interim Women's World Champion Toni Storm defeated Hikaru Shida to retain the AEW Women's Interim title. Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho defeated Dalton Castle to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship. AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley defeated Hangman Adam Page to retain the AEW World Championship. Impact World Champion Josh Alexander defeated Bobby Fish to retain the Impact World Championship. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Tag Team Champions Aussie Open defeated Team Filthy to retain the NJPW Strong Tag Team titles. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Champion Fred Rossier defeated Chris Dickinson to retain the NJPW Openweight Championship. NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide defeated Douglas Williams to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. A little bit of a reprieve from last week. Last week, it seems like every title was on the line for every promotion. And by every title, I mean every title. It took us a few minutes to get through those title matches last week, as opposed to the relatively short title matches results section here on Round 2 Wrestling. We will conclude this episode of Round 2 Wrestling in our traditional manner, and that is by talking about Did You Know Wrestling Facts. Did you know are little bits of information and facts about the pro wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. Did you know the first ever televised match for TNA Wrestling was the Flying Elvises versus Jerry Lynn, Low Ki, and AJ Styles? Did you know Chyna, that's right, the Hall of Famer Chyna, competed in several matches for New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2002? Did you know the Great Muta, aka Keiji Muto, has his own brand of curry perfectly named Green Mist Curry? Did you know in the history of the WWF, WWE Championship, only 3 masked men have held the title? These being Kane, the first masked man, Mankind, the second, and Rey Mysterio, the last masked man to win the WWE Championship. Did you know New Japan's IWGP Heavyweight title was defended on WCW Monday Night Nitro on 2 separate occasions? Did you know the very first ever main event for New Japan Pro Wrestling was Antonio Inoki versus Karl Gotch in 1972? Did you know the very first female valet was Miss Betty Hansen, the valet to the Hall of Famer Gorgeous George? Did you know the number 27 has produced the most Royal Rumble winners in WWE history? All right, that is the conclusion of Round 2 Wrestling. I am SlimmDa KID, and I personally want to thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. Be sure to check out our other broadcast that we sent out yesterday, entitled the PWI 500, where I personally go over the top 25 wrestlers in the PWI 500, give some opinions and a few facts here or there, as well as a few more top 5 and top 10 lists, all pertaining to the PWI 500. I also want to give a big shout out to Combat One Wrestling in Waterford, Michigan. These guys are letting me also into the wrestling ring and the wrestling world, just like Ultimate Championship Wrestling in Saginaw. If you are going to be in the Waterford area Friday, October 28th, be sure to check out Combat One and their Facebook page for the entire list of matches that will take place at this incredibly action-packed event live October 28th. Once again, I am SlimmDa KID, and I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode. Be sure to tune in next week as I bring you more news, more results, and more rumors from the world of professional wrestling.